Chanel Spring/Summer 2026/2027. Runway for women 40 plus Parisian elegance, you'll never forget. Introduction. Welcome to Andara Fashion. I'm so excited to share one of the most unforgettable runway moments I've seen recently, the Chanel Spring/Summer 2026/2027 collection, designed with timeless elegance in mind for women over 40. What I find interesting is how this presentation captured the essence of Parisian sophistication without feeling outdated or predictable. I think there is something deeply inspiring about fashion that celebrates maturity with confidence and grace. The moment I watched the show, I knew there were details worth discussing and remembering for a long time. The spirit of Parisian elegance. I think Chanel has always understood that elegance is not about age, but about attitude. In my experience, many luxury brands chase trends so aggressively that they lose their identity, but this collection felt refreshingly authentic. What I find interesting is how the designers embraced refinement rather than trying to imitate youthful fashion. Unlike most people who associate excitement with bold experimentation, I believe restraint can be equally captivating. A collection designed with confidence. I think confidence was the true star of this runway. The silhouettes appeared polished and sophisticated while maintaining comfort and wearability. In my experience, women over 40 appreciate clothing that empowers rather than overwhelms. What I find interesting is how every look communicated strength without sacrificing femininity. The beauty of classic tweed. I have always admired Chanel's relationship with tweed, and this season made me appreciate it even more. I think the fabric brought texture and depth to the collection in a way that felt luxurious yet approachable. What I find interesting is that classic materials often outlast temporary fashion obsessions. Unlike many trendy fabrics that disappear after one season, tweed seems to become more beautiful with time.
The base feels light and nothing asks. The sky feels right and I belong. The Thames keeps its forward. Time dissolves beneath its space. And I burn fine the simple place. No control, no need to prove. No space for nothing new. The time starts in a different groove. And there's a rhythm I will know. The bass sings, oh, the beat. No fear, just peace and play.
Soft colors with lasting appeal. I think the color palette was one of the most impressive aspects of the show. The soft neutrals, creams, and delicate pastels created a sense of calm and sophistication. In my experience, understated colors often make a stronger impression than loud shades. What I find interesting is that simplicity can sometimes appear far more luxurious than extravagance.
The bass stands open state. The time is fading either way. The bass says, the beat. The bass starts wrong. The beat. The times change with something strong. Like the movies just beat wrong. The time speaks unspeaking bold. And there's a rhythm open soul. The world is turning round. And some might find this is the moment that feels so right. The bass times run. The bass times run.
Modernity hidden in tradition. What I find interesting is how Chanel managed to modernize traditional elements without losing its heritage. I think that balance is incredibly difficult to achieve. In my experience, many brands either become too nostalgic or too experimental. This collection seemed to find the perfect middle ground, which made it feel remarkably relevant. Why less can be more? I think one of the surprising lessons from this runway is that less really can be more. The absence of excessive embellishments allowed the craftsmanship to shine. What I find interesting is that simplicity often requires greater skill than complexity. Unlike most people who expect dramatic statements from luxury fashion, I find quiet elegance much more memorable. tailoring that flatters every stage of life. In my experience, great tailoring can transform the way a woman feels about herself. I think Chanel succeeded in creating shapes that complemented mature beauty rather than hiding it. What I find interesting is how subtle adjustments in proportions can make such a difference. The pieces looked comfortable while maintaining an unmistakable sense of sophistication. Unexpected details that stood out. I think the smaller details were what truly elevated the collection. From delicate embellishments to elegant accessories, every element seemed carefully considered. What I find interesting is that these subtle touches created an atmosphere of effortless luxury. Sometimes, the smallest details leave the strongest impression. The power of timeless fashion. I have always believed that timeless fashion represents a wise investment. In my experience, pieces that transcend trends often become the most cherished items in a wardrobe. What I find interesting is that this collection reinforced that belief beautifully. Instead of chasing temporary excitement, Chanel focused on enduring style. A surprising perspective on aging. I think one of the most counterintuitive aspects of this collection is that maturity itself became a source of inspiration. Society often emphasizes youth, yet this runway celebrated confidence gained through experience. What I find interesting is that elegance seemed more powerful than trendiness. That message felt refreshing and deeply meaningful to me. accessories with purpose. In my experience, accessories should enhance an outfit rather than dominate it. I think Chanel demonstrated this philosophy perfectly. What I find interesting is how the handbags, jewelry, and shoes complemented the clothing with subtle sophistication. Their presence added harmony instead of distraction. The influence of French style. I think French fashion continues to fascinate people because it values authenticity. What I find interesting is that Parisian style often prioritizes confidence over perfection. In my experience, the most stylish women are those who wear clothes with ease and individuality. This collection embodied that philosophy beautifully. Elegance versus trends. Unlike most people who constantly seek the newest fashion craze, I think enduring elegance deserves more appreciation. Trends come and go, but refined style remains relevant for decades. What I find interesting is that Chanel understands this better than almost anyone. That consistency is one reason why the brand remains iconic.
The wind is wide, something's brave enough. The tide is gentle, and time is slow. The world is warm, the sky is still, and something's bending. Day becomes. The bass feels light, and nothing asks. The sky feels right, and I belong. The Thames keeps its forward. Time dissolves beneath its space, and I burn fine the simple place. No control, no need to.
A question for every woman. As I watched the show, I found myself asking an important question. What kind of style truly reflects who we are? I think fashion becomes much more meaningful when it expresses personality rather than simply following trends. What do you think about that idea?
No fear, just peace and play. The bass sounds wrong, and I'm not seen. This promise
emotional side of dressing well. In my experience, clothing affects emotions more than people realize. I think dressing elegantly can create a sense of confidence and self-respect. What I find interesting is that beautiful fashion often inspires positive energy. The Chanel runway reminded me that style is closely connected to self-expression.
The bass time's wrong. The wind is wide, but something's brave. The tide is gentle and time is slow. The world is turned, the sky is bright.
Why this collection will be remembered. I think this collection will remain memorable because it embraced timeless beauty instead of temporary spectacle. What I find interesting is that it proved sophistication never loses its appeal. In my experience, truly exceptional fashion leaves an emotional impression rather than simply creating headlines. That is exactly what this runway achieved. Personal reflections on Chanel's vision. Watching this collection made me appreciate the value of graceful style even more. I think Chanel delivered something that women over 40 can genuinely connect with and enjoy. What I find interesting is how elegance was presented with warmth rather than rigidity. The collection felt inspiring, approachable, and wonderfully refined. A celebration of confidence and grace. I believe fashion should celebrate every stage of life, and this runway expressed that idea beautifully. In my experience, confidence becomes more valuable with age, and style should reflect that reality. What I find interesting is how this collection encouraged women to embrace sophistication without compromise. That message resonated with me deeply. Conclusion. As I reflect on the Chanel Spring/Summer 2026/2027 runway, I think its greatest achievement was reminding us that elegance never fades. What I find interesting is that true style often comes from confidence, authenticity, and a willingness to embrace who we are. What did you love most about this collection, and which look would you happily wear? Thank you for joining me here on Endara Fashion. And if you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe to the channel and stay with me for more inspiring fashion stories and timeless style insights.